humanity's first vessel designed for light-speed travel. In the year 2100, after centuries of dreams and decades of breakthroughs in quantum propulsion and space-time engineering, Earth finally launched its most ambitious project. Lumina is not merely a spacecraft, it is the embodiment of human aspiration to conquer the cosmos, to reach out beyond the cradle of Earth and embrace the vast unknown. The Lumina's propulsion system is a marvel of modern science, a revolutionary quantum drive that generates a stable warp bubble, allowing the vessel to traverse the vacuum of space at the speed of light. Unlike earlier designs that relied on incremental boosts of conventional thrust, Lumina's engine manipulates the very fabric of space-time. In its launch phase, the spacecraft accelerated from a high Earth orbit, leaving behind a trail of ionized gas as it broke free of Earth's gravitational bonds. The quantum drive ignited in a cascade of luminous pulses, each burst rippling outward like a ripple on a pond, as the ship quickly approached its ultimate velocity limit. At the moment of liftoff, a hushed anticipation filled the orbital platform. Engineers, scientists, and a select group of 2,500 brave pioneers gathered to witness history in the making. The command center on Earth displayed a countdown, 10, 9, 8, until the moment when Lumina would defy the constraints of classical physics. When the timer hit 0, the propulsion system flared to life. Within mere seconds, the ship's forward section glowed with a cerulean brilliance as the warp bubble enveloped it. The vessel left behind Earth's familiar blues and greens, venturing into the star-filled darkness at the speed of light. As Lumina reached full velocity, on-board artificial gravity systems seamlessly took over. Instead of relying on centrifugal force generated by a rotating habitat ring, the ship's gravity was maintained by an integrated gravitational modulator, a device that countered the natural weightlessness of deep space by creating a localized gravitational field throughout the living quarters. Passengers found themselves walking along corridors that mimicked the gentle pull of Earth's gravity, even as the ship hurtled through interstellar space at a rate once thought impossible. Within the first hours after launch, the crew initiated the orientation sequence. A series of diagnostics confirmed that every system, from life support and energy distribution to navigation and propulsion, was functioning in near-perfect harmony. The luminescent panels of the bridge lit up with real-time readings, quantum flux stabilizers at optimal levels, navigational coordinates locked on a pre-calculated trajectory, and the gravitational modulator generating a constant 1G force. The calm professionalism of the crew was palpable, their voices resonating over the comm systems with reports like, "Drive stable, gravity modulator online, and environmental controls are nominal." Over the course of the next 15 minutes, Lumina executed its initial acceleration phase. The quantum drive, unlike chemical rockets of old, required no lengthy burn time. Instead, it built up momentum in short, discrete pulses that pushed the vessel into the light-speed regime. During this interval, passengers and crew alike experienced a brief period of intense vibration as the ship adjusted its orientation. The windows of the observation domes revealed a kaleidoscope of stars that stretched and blurred, a mesmerizing effect of the relativistic speeds at which they were traveling. It was as if the very heavens were rearranging themselves in homage to humanity's newfound reach. Once the acceleration phase ended, Lumina settled into its cruising state. The quantum drive now maintained a constant light-speed velocity, a feat that meant that from the perspective of those aboard, time itself slowed to a near standstill relative to the universe outside. Yet, despite the incredible physics at play, life aboard the ship continued in a carefully choreographed routine. The habitat zones were divided into various modules: residential quarters, research laboratories, hydroponic gardens, recreational areas, and vast communal spaces where cultural and educational activities flourished. For the first few days, the ship's artificial day-night cycle provided a comforting rhythm. Specially engineered LED panels simulated the gentle progression of sunrise and sunset across the interior of Lumina. In the grand atrium, a space designed to evoke the majesty of a terrestrial sky, the colors shifted from deep violet to a warm amber glow, synchronizing with the ship's internal clock. This cycle was not merely aesthetic, It helped regulate the circadian rhythms of over 5,000 souls who now called Lumina their temporary home, ensuring that mental health and overall well-being were maintained during the long journey. Meanwhile, scientists in the onboard labs monitored the effects of near-light-speed travel on both matter and biology. The quantum drive's manipulation of spacetime had peculiar consequences. Subtle variations in time flow were noted between different sections of the ship. Advanced chronometers tracked these minute discrepancies, and the research teams marveled at the opportunity to study relativistic phenomena firsthand. Early reports indicated that while the ship itself was in a state of constant light speed, the gravitational modulator and time synchronization systems kept the passage of time on board remarkably uniform, a delicate balancing act of physics and engineering. In parallel with scientific pursuits, the cultural life on Lumina was beginning to blossom. The ship's command deck had long ago commissioned a digital archive of human history, a vast repository containing literature, art, music, and films spanning millennia. Every evening, citizens gathered in communal theaters and amphitheaters to share in storytelling sessions, musical performances, and interactive lectures. It was a living museum of Earth's legacy, a reminder that although humanity was now hurtling through the cosmos, its roots were deeply embedded in the soil of its long-lost home. At the heart of the ship was the Grand Nexus, a central hub where data, memories, and even personal histories were stored in quantum memory banks. This nexus served as both the neural network and the cultural heart of Lumina, connecting every individual to the collective experience of the journey. Through augmented reality interfaces, passengers could virtually stroll through reconstructed scenes of ancient Earth, reliving the wonders of the natural world, the triumphs of human invention, and the bittersweet lessons of history. These virtual excursions were more than entertainment. They were a living dialogue with the past, a way to ensure that the spirit of Earth endured even as humanity embraced the future. The early days of the voyage also brought into focus the remarkable adaptability of the human body under extreme conditions. Although the gravitational modulator provided a stable 1G environment, prolonged exposure to quantum-engineered spacetime had unforeseen biological side effects. Onboard biologists, working in specially designed laboratories, studied the cellular responses to the unique conditions of light-speed travel. Early findings suggested that human metabolism underwent slight modifications, allowing for increased efficiency in energy use, a change that could be passed on genetically to future generations born on the ship. In tandem, genetic counselors were appointed to monitor the health of the first generation of children conceived in the controlled environment of Lumina, ensuring that the gene pool remained robust and resilient. After approximately 72 hours of steady light-speed travel, the ship's navigational systems initiated the first of many course correction maneuvers. Even though Lumina was traveling at the speed of light, the fabric of space itself was not entirely uniform. Regions of higher cosmic radiation and pockets of interstellar dust required the ship to make subtle adjustments to its trajectory. To achieve this, Lumina's exterior was outfitted with an array of adaptive sensors and microthrusters, capable of executing precision maneuvers. As the ship gently veered off its initial path, the onboard computer calculated that these adjustments would be imperceptible to the human senses, but were crucial for maintaining the integrity of the warp bubble. These routine corrections were a testament to the robustness of Lumina's design. The ship's outer hull was reinforced with composite materials capable of withstanding not only the immense stresses of light-speed travel, but also the occasional impact of micrometeoroids. Laser-based defense systems were integrated along the bow, ready to neutralize any larger particles that might threaten the vessel. In essence, Lumina was a fortress in the void, engineered to brave the hazards of interstellar space while carrying the hopes and dreams of an entire species. Communication between Lumina and Earth, however, was a challenge of its own. As the ship achieved light speed, the communication delay between the vessel and its home planet grew exponentially. Messages sent from Earth took years to reach the ship, and any reply from Lumina would be received long after the moment had passed. To cope with this temporal disconnect, the onboard communications team developed a sophisticated protocol based on quantum entanglement, a method that allowed instantaneous data transfer of non-critical information. Nevertheless, vital communications were still subject to the immutable laws of relativity. Every message, every update from Earth was a poignant reminder of the sacrifices made to venture into the unknown. As months turned into years, the generational rhythm aboard Lumina began to take shape. The original crew, who had trained for years to operate this marvel of technology, now found themselves as mentors and elders to a growing population born in transit. The ship's population grew steadily, from the initial 2,500 pioneers to nearly 6,000 souls, as families expanded and new births became a celebrated milestone. Each child's first cry was met with both joy and solemn responsibility, a reminder that the future of humanity was being forged in a crucible of cosmic wonder and uncertainty. Daily life on Lumina was an intricate tapestry of routines and celebrations. Morning assemblies in the main atrium greeted citizens with messages of hope and scientific updates, while educational programs taught the children not only the history of Earth, but also the physics of their extraordinary journey. Advanced simulation chambers allowed aspiring pilots and engineers to train in virtual replicas of the ship's controls, ensuring that every generation was prepared to take on the responsibilities of interstellar travel. It was a society built on continuity, a living laboratory where science, art, and community blended seamlessly. One of the most captivating phenomena observed during the voyage was the relativistic effect of time dilation. Although the quantum drive maintained a constant light speed, small discrepancies in the flow of time between the ship's interior and the universe outside became apparent. To explain this, the chief physicist on board devised a simple analogy. "Imagine time as an endless river," she explained during a televised lecture in the central amphitheater. "For those drifting along its surface, the current flows normally. But if you are riding in a vessel that moves so swiftly that you outrun the current, time itself slows down relative to those left behind." This explanation not only illuminated the science behind their journey, but also imbued every passenger with a sense of the profound and sometimes bittersweet nature of their expedition. Yet even as the mysteries of relativity were celebrated, challenges persisted. The ship's life support systems were in constant need of recalibration. Hydroponic farms and aeroponic gardens were maintained by both automated drones and dedicated horticulturists who labored to keep Earth's biodiversity alive. Special bioreactors recycled waste into vital nutrients, and every plant in Lumina's greenhouses was cherished as a living connection to the world they had left behind. The interplay between advanced technology and the fragile beauty of nature was a recurring theme, a duality that defined life aboard a ship traveling at light speed. Every so often the crew held commemorative events to mark the passing of significant milestones. Anniversaries of the launch were celebrated with galactic concerts, holographic reenactments of Earth's history, and even spaceborne fireworks that illuminated the dark corridors of the ship. These rituals were a way for the passengers to honor their past, appreciate their present, and look forward with hope to the future. In one particularly moving ceremony, a newborn, one of the first children conceived in the environment of light speed, was given the name Aurora, symbolizing the dawn of a new era for humanity. As Lumina traversed the cosmic void, it periodically entered regions of space where gravitational fields from distant stars subtly tugged at the ship's course. During one such episode, when the vessel passed near a binary star system, the navigational officers were forced to initiate an emergency correction maneuver. The sensors detected fluctuations in the local gravitational field that could potentially disrupt the warp bubble. In response, the ship's thrusters fired in a carefully calibrated sequence, adjusting the trajectory by a mere fraction of a degree. Though the event was over in moments, the incident served as a stark reminder of the unpredictable nature of interstellar space, even for a vessel as advanced as Lumina. Back on board, the cultural evolution of the passengers continued apace. New traditions emerged as families grew and new generations came of age. The ship's education system introduced courses in warp theory, quantum navigation, and interstellar sociology, blending rigorous scientific inquiry with the humanities. The digital archive of Earth was expanded by contributions from every corner of the vessel, ensuring that art, music, literature, and philosophy remained as vibrant as ever. In the recreation hubs, virtual reality experiences allowed passengers to simulate life on Earth, strolling through recreated city parks, attending virtual museums, and even dining in digital replicas of classic restaurants. These experiences were bittersweet. They served as both a reminder of what was lost and a beacon of what could be rebuilt. As the journey progressed, scientists on board began to observe subtle evolutionary changes in the human physiology of those born on Lumina. Adaptations to prolonged exposure to artificial gravity and the ambient quantum field were evident. The first generation of Luminians exhibited slight metabolic differences, increased bone density, and even subtle shifts in circadian biology. Geneticists monitored these changes with both fascination and caution, ensuring that the natural diversity of the human genome was preserved. Reproduction on board was carefully managed, with new couples undergoing extensive genetic screening and counseling to maintain a healthy, balanced population. At the halfway point of Lumina's journey, a symbolic moment celebrated by both the crew and the passengers, a grand festival was held in the central dome. Holographic displays showed a montage of Earth's landscapes and historical achievements, while live musical performances, choreographed with light-speed precision, filled the space with a sense of unity and purpose. During the festival, the ship's captain addressed the assembled crowd. "We are voyagers on the edge of time and space. Though we travel at the speed of light, it is our shared humanity that binds us together. Today, we celebrate not only our progress, but our unyielding commitment to the legacy of Earth and the promise of a new beginning." In the years that followed, routine life aboard Lumina became a blend of technological marvel and human perseverance. The quantum drive maintained its constant velocity, and the ship's navigational systems continued to make micro-adjustments as needed. Every day was marked by a series of well-planned activities: scientific experiments in zero-G laboratories, communal meals in gravity-simulated dining halls, and scheduled moments for quiet reflection in the ship's meditation gardens. The crew's log entries, recorded in both text and holographic format, became a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of the unknown. Relativistic phenomena, while subtle on a day-to-day basis, accumulated over time. For every hour experienced on Lumina, years passed in the greater cosmos, a fact that was both a scientific curiosity and an emotional weight borne by those who remembered Earth's ever-changing face. The chief physicist compiled detailed records of these effects, publishing periodic reports that were transmitted back to Earth via quantum-entangled beacons. These reports, filled with intricate diagrams and mathematical proofs, provided insight into the nature of time and space itself. They were a reminder that while the passengers enjoyed a life that mimicked the familiarity of Earth, they were in truth participants in an experiment that redefined the limits of possibility. As Lumina's journey neared its final decades, preparations for arrival in the Alpha Centauri system intensified. The ship's course was adjusted for the final approach, and a series of deceleration maneuvers were meticulously planned. Unlike the initial burst of acceleration, the deceleration sequence required a delicate interplay of the quantum drive and the ship's inertial dampeners. Over a period of 30 days, the propulsion system would gradually reduce Lumina's velocity from light speed to a fraction thereof, enabling the vessel to safely enter orbit around its target exoplanet, Nova Terra, a promising world located in the habitable zone of Alpha Centauri A. During this final approach, the ship's interior buzzed with anticipation. The cultural program was expanded to include lectures on the history of space exploration, artistic tributes to Earth, and detailed briefings on the scientific and environmental conditions expected on Nova Terra. The onboard engineers conducted simulations of the deceleration burn, ensuring that every parameter was finely tuned. The gravitational modulator, too, was set to undergo adjustments. As the ship slowed, A controlled increase in artificial gravity was planned to help the passengers gradually adapt to the higher gravitational environment. In the last 15 days before orbital insertion, the ship entered a solemn period of reflection. The quantum drive was momentarily powered down for spin desaturation, a process that realigned the ship's inertial mass and prepared the habitat ring for the impending transition. The once steady hum of the propulsion system was replaced by a quiet, measured rhythm as the thrusters fired in reverse to reduce rotational momentum. The corridors of Lumina, which had once echoed with the energy of exploration, now resonated with introspection and quiet determination. In the observation domes, passengers watched as distant stars shifted positions, each one a silent witness to humanity's epic journey. Then came the deceleration burn, a final, carefully orchestrated event that signaled the culmination of a century's voyage. With precision that only advanced quantum engineering could achieve, the engines fired in a sequence of gentle pulses over the course of 15 days. The once blistering pace of light-speed travel gave way to a graceful slowdown as Lumina approached the orbit of Nova Terra. The artificial gravity systems were recalibrated once again, ensuring that the transition from the zero-G environment of deep space to the higher gravitational pull of the new world would be as seamless as possible. As the deceleration sequence reached its conclusion, the ship's sensors confirmed that Nova Terra's orbit had been successfully entered. The vast, swirling clouds of a distant atmosphere, illuminated by the faint glow of its parent star, filled the view screens. It was a moment of triumph, a testament to human ingenuity and the relentless pursuit of exploration. The captain, standing at the helm with emotion in his eyes, announced over the comm systems, "After 100 years of travel at the speed of light, we have arrived. Nova Terra awaits us as the next home for humankind." In the days that followed, Lumina slowly transitioned from an interstellar arc to an orbiting outpost around Nova Terra. The ship's docking bays opened to reveal small, agile shuttles that would ferry the first exploratory teams to the planet's surface. Meanwhile, the onboard cultural and scientific communities prepared for the next phase of human evolution. New schools were established, research labs reoriented their focus toward the study of Nova Terra's biosphere, and the digital archives were expanded to include live feeds and detailed scans of the alien world below. The arrival of Nova Terra was marked by a series of commemorative ceremonies. A holographic display in the central atrium recounted the journey's milestones, from the triumphant launch in 2100 to the steady, almost imperceptible passage of time as Lumina traveled at light speed. Passengers, now spanning several generations, gathered to pay homage to those who had come before them. Elder statesmen spoke of Earth's enduring legacy and the hopes that had fueled this monumental expedition. Young children, born into a life far removed from the terrestrial past, listened with wide eyes as tales of ancient blue skies and green forests were recounted with reverence. Even as Nova Terra's gravity began to exert its pull on the orbiting vessel, the legacy of lightspeed travel endured in every facet of life aboard Lumina. The ship's design, a blend of cutting-edge quantum engineering, adaptive artificial gravity, and meticulously planned cultural continuity, had proven that humanity was capable of not only reaching the stars, but also of thriving while doing so. The generations born in transit had come to see the journey as an integral part of their identity. Their art, music, and literature were imbued with the themes of cosmic exploration and the transformative power of time dilation. In the final days before the first landing expedition, the ship's command deck held one last meeting. A detailed briefing was presented outlining the sequence of events for the descent to Nova Terra's surface. The plan was to deploy a series of automated landers that would scout the terrain, analyze atmospheric composition, and search for signs of water and life. These unmanned missions would pave the way for human explorers, ensuring that the new world was not only habitable but ripe with potential for sustainable colonization. The captain reminded everyone, "Our journey has been long and every moment of uncertainty has led us to this point. Nova Terra is not just our destination, It is the future of humankind. With that, Lumina's final chapter as an interstellar vessel was set in motion. The deceleration burn had ended, the ship now gracefully coasting in orbit around a planet that shone with the promise of renewal. Inside the vessel, the artificial day-night cycle continued unabated, and the gravitational modulator adjusted imperceptibly to mirror the gentle pull of Nova Terra below. The quiet hum of the ship's systems provided a steady backdrop as the first landing crafts prepared for their descent. And so, as the shuttle bays opened and the explorers embarked on their final journey to the surface, a collective sense of awe and wonder filled every corridor of Lumina. The story of human light-speed travel had been written not in the annals of a single generation, but across centuries of sacrifice, innovation, and the unyielding quest for knowledge. Every heartbeat, every whispered hope, and every scientific breakthrough had led to this climactic moment. A moment where the dreams of 2100 were finally realized on the soil of a new world. In the soft glow of Nova Terra's rising sun, a light that had traveled across vast cosmic distances, the first human steps were taken on an alien yet welcoming landscape. The pioneers set up the inaugural outpost, a living testament to the enduring spirit of exploration. They planted a flag and dedicated the new settlement to all those who had made the journey possible. With careful steps and hearts full of hope, they began the work of forging a civilization that would build upon the legacy of Earth while embracing the challenges and wonders of an interstellar future. As dusk settled over Nova Terra for the first time, the colonists gathered to watch the starry sky, a sky that still bore the distant shimmer of the galaxy they had left behind. The children of Lumina, whose lives had been defined by the miracle of light-speed travel, marveled at the stars and wondered at the infinite possibilities that lay ahead. Their voices mingled with those of the elders in a soft chorus of optimism, a promise that though the journey had been long, the future was finally here. Thus ends the chronicle of Lumina's epic voyage, a journey that redefined what it meant to be human, transcending the bounds of time, space, and gravity. In the year 2100, when Earth dared to dream of light-speed travel, humanity not only reached for the stars, but found a way to carry its legacy into the cosmos. And as Nova Terra welcomed its new inhabitants, the spirit of exploration burned brighter than ever, a beacon of hope that would guide future generations across the endless tapestry of space.